Missouri State fans, it's time to bear down.
And Paws up. Welcome to the podcast where we break down the Bears and Lady Bears basketball teams, how the teams are built, how they play, and where they're headed.
We dive into all the matchups, the rosters, the trends.
And talk with special guests from around Missouri State and Conference USA.
Bear down, Paws up.
Hey, welcome back. We are back with you here today on the Bear Down, Paws Up podcast. My name is Tom Ladd, and Mark Beas is right there. How you doing, Mark?
Doing great. End of summer kind of show. I say that because obviously we got all of August to go, but I always considered the end of summer when the sneaker soiree starts. You know, that's the start of the athletic year for Missouri State. So this is it.
You got your sneakers all shined up and ready for this weekend?
I'm trying to pick. You know, they do little judgings on those sneakers. I'm trying to pick out which one I think, you know, they'll catch their eye.
I talked to Paige Grissom this week. She said, no judging this week. It's the 40th year of the auction. So they still want you to wear your sneakers and wear your nice ones, but they're not going to have a judging deal this week or this year because it's such a special year for it.
You know, I didn't realize that they had basically only gone 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, I moved back here in 91. And so I think I've made 36 out of the 40, Tom.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of them as well. I've missed a few for vacations or whatever, but I've been to a lot of them since I've been here since 95 as well.
Well, you know, this is my 54th year of being a Bear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that include school?
Yeah.
And,
from the day I enrolled till now, 54 years of being a Bear.
Man, oh man, oh man, you're old. Hey, we've got a big show today, a big show. We're going to talk Bears basketball today. We had our last program, big show. We had Beth Cunningham on, and she broke down the roster a little bit, talked a little bit about the schedule. But you can find that podcast up on our podcast on 96.9 The Jock, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Spotify. So you can go to those entities to watch or listen to the podcast.
And our next to last show was Coach Martin. And
yes.
So we've had both coaches on in the last 3 weeks or so. And so, yeah, good shows.
Today, we've got the engine of the Bears program. It's a guy that makes it all go. Trey Williams Jr. Out of the St. Louis area was a starter last year, played almost 30 minutes a game for the Bears.
As a freshman, as a true freshman.
Yes. Put up really good numbers, averaging 10 points a game last season. Trey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
You bet. We appreciate you being here. First off, how's the off season going for you?
It's been good. You know, a lot of workouts every day, just trying to get better myself for next season. I knew what I kind of needed to work on coming into this off season. So I've definitely been doing that every day.
So your summer workouts are complete now, and you'll be off, 2 weeks or so, and then come back?
Yeah.
Now, besides all that work, I know from conversations you and I have, your dad works you out every morning at like 5 a.m.?
Like 5:30 in the morning, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it just shows you the amount of work and the amount of discipline it takes at this level.
Does he do that here, or are you doing it? I know you're going home for a little bit. Is it at home or here?
Yeah, my dad moved to Springfield.
Oh, wow.
Last year with me. And yeah, he's been kind of working me out. He worked me out a lot last year, and he's been working me out every day all summer. So
now, you know, Tom, I've told you, I have the privilege. I sit right across the aisle from Trey's dad at all the home games for the men. So, you know, we have a lot of dialogue going.
Oh, Trey, there's going to be some stories today on this program. He knows your dad. Are you worried about that?
Not at all. My dad's a funny dude. So
he's a lot quieter than I would have thought. You know, I sat in a spot last year with Zach's dad, Keith's dad, and your dad. And your dad was by far the quietest of those two. Jackson's dad was a little animated, but he's a kind of a proper guy and stuff. I really like. And Keith's dad was just out there. I mean, he was there for the whole experience. I mean, he was on the officials. He was there. Your dad's a little more contemplative and stuff.
Yeah, my dad, he's been my coach my whole life before I came to college. So, you know, I think he's just kind of ready to just sit back and watch. You know, he'll tell me after the game, like, if he sees some things, but he'll never like yell during the game at me or nothing like that.
So I want to go back and kind of look at your background a little bit. Number one, we got to talk about Vashon High School.
Yeah.
So one of the legendary basketball programs in the country. You played there, not only played there, but at a very high level.
Yeah.
Multiple state championships at Vashon. Talk about just the experience of playing at that school.
Yeah, man, going to Vashon, that was a whole different experience for me. Because I'm from a small town, Trey, Illinois. Not a lot of it's a big basketball town for sure, but not a lot of people, everybody knows everybody. So just moving to St. Louis, it was kind of a culture shock for me. And then, I knew it was best for me for basketball for sure. I didn't know the history behind Vashon before I went there. I kind of learned it as I went on. But yeah, definitely my freshman year, you walk in the gym, you just see all the banners, state championship banners going back to like the 50s. And, Coach Floyd Irons, Coach Tone, Coach Jimmy, guys that have been there, played for Vashon. It's a great tradition going on there, and it's still going to this day.
So let me throw this out because I've got a little information on his previous hometown, Centralia, the Orphans, which I know very well. I'm a Southern Illinois guy too, but there's legendary Coach Rick Moss was there,
yes, sir.
And there at one time, Mark, that was the all-time winningest. It may still be all-time winningest program in America in high school basketball.
In high school? Wow.
Yeah. Them and Collinsville, which is not too far from Centralia, were battling it out for a while. So that was a pretty good basketball hotbed too.
Yeah, definitely. I just felt like it was best for me, if I wanted to go Division I, to move to St. Louis, which that's no knock on Centralia. I mean, Centralia is a great high school with a great program as well. But I just felt like Coach Tone, he kind of had a lot more resources. He had sent a lot more guys to that level, and I feel like I could go there and not only get better, but also go to where I wanted to go.
I saw where one of your, I assume you played with him while you were there. Jimmy McKinney just signed this week.
St. Louis. Yeah, that's my little brother, man. I'm happy for him.
Oh, great.
Yeah, who else? Name some players that you played with at Vashon that went on.
Kennard Davis, he was at Carbondale a couple years ago. He was at BYU last year. He's at Mizzou now. Christian Williams, he's at Cal State Fullerton. Nicholas Randall, we call him Butter. He's at Mizzou. My brother Dier from Centralia, we both moved together. He plays football at Oregon. So he chose the football route, yeah. It's just a lot of guys coming through there. Then, I mean, before me, it was Cameron Fletcher, Mario McKinney, Phillip Russell, Keyshawn Gilbert, Nick Kearns. It's a long list. It's a very long list.
Now, are you helping the Bears coaching staff with some of the guys there at Vashon?
Sure. Jaden, not Vashon, but the one commit we got so far for 2027, Jaden Lloyd, he plays under the same AU program that I did. It was definitely some phone calls made to him.
Is that Southwest Illinois Jets?
Yes.
Yeah. How good was that program? Is that where some of your guys played too?
Yeah, it's a great independent program. It's not on like a EYBL circuit or anything, Adidas, nothing like that. It's on Recruit Looks, but Recruit Looks is great in its own. And, it's a plethora of coaches out there every game just to watch you. And that's actually where Coach Crump and them saw me at. So
now you're just a sophomore, but really in this crazy world of, people moving all the time and stuff, you're really the experienced leader for this team going into this year. So how do you see your role? What do you bring in that role?
Yeah, definitely I gotta be the leader of the team. I kind of know what it takes. I kind of got the most experience at this level on our team. Been through the fire, just being that vocal leader for us, doing anything that we need to do. Obviously as the point guard, you got to be the loudest on the court. And I feel like last year we kind of had Mike and Keith that did that for me, but this year it's time for me to step into that role.
Now, this year you do have a little help as the primary ball handler. Guys like Dylan, Kevin, Jordan, even a little bit. So how's that going to be for you? Maybe getting to play a little bit more off ball.
Yeah, I think it's great, to be honest. I don't really think anybody knows how tiring it is to bring the ball up all game, every game. Like, it's good to have some help, which, we felt like we had some help last year, but Coach ultimately trusted me with the ball in my hands the most. So I felt like I just had to bring the ball up. But Dylan, Kevin, Jordan, they're more than capable of helping me bring the ball up if I need to.
Well, and also Coach Martin kind of expects his point guard to apply
sure.
pressure the whole game out
Yeah.
there on the other point guard, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what point guard, where did you develop those skills? And I mean, when did you start playing point guard? Because you've been kind of all the guard positions growing up.
Yeah, for sure. In Vashon, I was more of the two guard, the combo guard. Like I would help handle the ball if needed, but we had a point guard, and because I could really shoot the ball, so I kind of just utilized my shooting. Last year I was learning on the fly. Honestly, that was really like my first time like playing point guard full time all the time, and I was just learning on the fly, but I picked it up pretty quickly. I feel like.
I would say so. He ended up, Tom, with the best assist to turnover ratio in the Conference USA last year.
Yeah, that I mean, controlling the ball and keeping the turnovers down, that's huge, isn't it,
Yes,
for any point guard?
Yes, sir. It definitely is.
And especially in Conference USA, that's pretty athletic league.
Yeah, very athletic league. I didn't even know it was that athletic until we started playing the games. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of high flyers, a lot of size in this conference for sure.
Yep. Talk about that a little bit. Last year, your first year in D1, and obviously you didn't get a chance to play in the Missouri Valley prior to that. But what was it like in Conference USA as a freshman, and what things kind of shocked you a little bit?
I would say definitely just like how fast paced it is, because I was very familiar with the Valley when you guys were in like Carbondale and schools like that. And that's more of like a slower paced league, like a lot of play through the bigs, that kind of league. And this Conference USA is more of guard play. Now, obviously, we had Mike and Keith last year, so we still played through our bigs. But it seemed like everybody else we played just had like 2 or 3 guards, quick guards that could really get to it. So I feel like that was probably the shock to me, is just how much guard play there was in the conference.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about, the playing through the bigs. It's definitely going to be playing through the bigs this year, isn't it, with all the size you got?
For sure.
My goodness.
We got good Andres from Indiana. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been telling people about him. He's pretty accomplished low post scorer, isn't he?
For sure, yes.
Little pick and pop.
Yeah.
You obviously, in today's world and having a really good freshman year, you had opportunities to transfer. We all know that. So why come back to Missouri State? What do you want to accomplish here?
Yeah. I just felt like, honestly, it wasn't really much talk about me hitting the portal in like my inner circle. I kind of knew I was going to come back, because even though I did finish out the year very strongly, I didn't feel like I just needed to jump ship just because, there's money out there. I felt like the coaching staff, me, myself, if I just came back and worked, and I knew the coaching staff trust me, I felt like we could do special things this year. So I felt like it was best for me to just come back, because I already trusted Coach Martin and them, and I didn't feel like me going to another school and having to retrust a whole new staff, gain the trust from them. I just felt like that wasn't needed at this time. I feel like I could develop the best here.
Not to mention having to learn a new system too, right?
Sure, yeah.
It takes a little time, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So we saw Trey Williams Jr. as a freshman. What can we expect from Trey Williams Jr. as a sophomore?
Yeah.
How have you changed, do you think, from one year to the next?
I would just say my game is more mature, I would say. I felt like there was sometimes you could watch me last year, you would say like, oh yeah, he kind of looks like a freshman. I don't feel like you'll see that from me this year. I kind of feel like I'm comfortable enough. I know what to expect in the games, and I think I know what I could do. And I would say just expect a little of what happened last season, like towards the end of my play.
Yeah.
Except more.
Big clutch shots you hit last year. Yeah.
I told you, I had made that comment after going to practices last year, and I told people, I said, I don't know when, but at some point in this year, it'll be the last shot, and this kid will hit it.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that. Well, I don't think he ever had a buzzer beater one, but certainly that dagger against Liberty, with about 20 seconds left was just about the same thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that moment was great. I ain't even gonna lie. That was a great moment. Keith found me in the corner. I don't even know what happened to the defense. I was just wide open. And that was just kind of like, I work on that shot every day. I didn't really put much thought into it. It's kind of shoddy, and it went in.
that's the beautiful thing about having talented big men, where they're gonna draw some defenders down low. And you got Big Mike, who, it takes two or three to stop him.
Yeah.
And then Keith also, the way he was maneuvering. So somebody's going to be open.
Yeah.
And man, if you get some guys to hit some shots, wow, can be a deadly combination.
Sure.
So Trey, tell us a little bit about this team. What can we expect? And think about it in these terms. Like I just know this week we all got our season ticket notices and stuff and things. And so, why should fans be excited about this team? Why should they want to run out and buy those season tickets?
Yeah. The first thing you're gonna see when you walk in the gym is definitely the size. I mean, we're very big this year, very tall, athletic, lengthy. Like the size is there. We're not gonna have that problem no more. I would say I feel like the coaches did a good job going out and reconstructing this roster to like the teams like Kennesaw State won the conference last year. Our team is built very like them. La Tech, who was in the championship, very like them. Just a big team that's going to fight for offensive rebounds, extra possessions that we need. Yeah, and we're not going to have no rebounding issues this year at all.
I've seen a few workouts where the defense looked pretty intense.
Yeah.
You got a lot of long bodies out there.
For
It makes
sure.
it kind of tough in the passing lanes, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you have 6'6" wings that can just guard the point guard full court, it eases a lot of the pressure off the point guards for the defensive end, and then they could just bring the ball for the offensive end. Because we got Malachi, Leano, Jordan, Matt. I mean, those all guys 6'5", 6'6" long that can guard 1 through 4. So I mean, yeah, we got great size and depth this year for sure.
Yeah, and not only the size, but you got a couple of guys that may not be as tall, but just jump out of a gym.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I saw a couple clips on social media, guys with their hands at the top of the backboard. I'm like, holy smokes!
Every once in a while, winding just makes you go,
for sure.
My gosh.
Yeah, Winding's gonna be good.
Yeah,
for sure.
So defensively, we know offensively, they should have a different look.
Yeah.
Gonzo's very much, and we asked him this when he was on a couple of weeks ago, what's it going to be like defensively? Because he really judges a lot of playing time on what happens defensively.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm used to it by now. I'm definitely used to it. But Coach Martin is definitely a defensive-minded coach, which, I mean, defense wins games. So
yeah.
You got to be. And I feel like this year our defense should be one of the best in the conference, to be honest. If we reach our full potential, we should be, because we have – I mean, me and Dylan probably the only guys on the team that could probably guard the 1 and the 2. Everybody else can guard 1 through 4. So I mean, yeah, we should be good defensively this year for sure. We got to make some tweaks. Still got to learn a lot of stuff, but we got till November.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think we come out of the summer, but there's another 2 full months.
Sure.
When you guys come back before the season even gets here. All right, put you in the future. You're 70 years old. You're sitting in your recliner, kind of just chilling. What are 2 phrases of Coach Martin's that'll still be in your head?
Man, hold on. I got to think about this. Man, all right. I don't even know if y'all heard it, but he likes to bring up his record at Purdue a lot, of his 3-point shooting like 49%. And he just be like, I've been in the gym, reps on reps on reps on reps. He probably says that at least twice a day.
He says that on the radio too. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
The second one, he been saying it all summer. He'd be like, it's gonna be snowing before you know it. Trying to get us ready for the game. It's gonna be snowing before you know it. Them the 2 that's gonna stick with me. But he got a lot. I mean, Coach Martin, he's a very animated guy. Like, he's gonna express whatever he's saying, he's gonna show it. He's gonna express it.
So in this era of the transfer portal and stuff, is it tough to adjust to new players, every year? I mean, it is what it is, but people are going to be going and coming.
Yeah.
How difficult is that? I mean, this is your second year, but not many guys that you already had played with last year.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, at the end of last year, when it was kind of shaping out, when we kind of started seeing who was going to come back, who wasn't. That was I was like, we're going to have to get to know a whole 12 other guys. Like, that's probably going to be a lot, but it really hasn't been. It's been it's been fairly easy. We all get along very well. We kind of clicked off rip. So I mean, it hasn't been hard at all. But that was definitely a concern. I was like, we finna have to learn a whole new team, get to know a whole new team. But this team we just clicked right away.
Coach Martin emphasizes a lot more than just the basketball aspect, doesn't he?
For sure.
And as far as maturing as men and things. And,
Mhm.
I get to see that. I come to practices over the summer and stuff the last few years. And I've mentioned this a number of times, just the difference between you and Malachi
Yeah.
as freshmen last year
Yeah.
and now this year is night and day
Yeah.
from that aspect, from
For sure.
just how your confidence, how you present socially, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Coach Martin, that's also one of the reasons why I came back and why I came here in the first place. I felt like Coach Martin could make me a better basketball player, but a better man as well. He has a lot of values and morals that I want to have when I'm older and I'm growing up. And I felt like he was the best person for me to do that.
So, talk about playing at Great Southern Bank Arena.
Mhm.
Do you like that the floor? Do you like everything about it? It always seemed like I do a lot of TV there, do a lot of radio games there. For some reason, free throw shooting at Great Southern Bank Arena, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Visiting team, home team, we don't make a lot of free throws. Nobody makes free throws, at a high clip.
Mm.
I don't know if the rims are just real tight or what it is, but talk about your experience just playing at Great Southern Bank Arena.
Yeah. I'll say it's been a great experience. I feel like a lot of my best games were at home last year. I don't know if it was because it was our fans or what, but it was a great experience. I will say it's two different rims at our arena. Like
We,
on one side, it's like a tighter rim,
Yeah.
and the other side is kind of a looser
we've
rim.
noticed that, yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't really think that has anything to do with it. Every hoop is different. But yeah, I'll just say just two different rims.
So what was your thoughts about the tournament last year?
Mhm.
I've gone tournaments for years.
Yeah.
That was the most fun I've had at a conference, partly because we had both the men and women
Yeah,
and the
for sure.
crowds intermixed and stuff.
Yeah.
But how was that experience for you?
Yeah. Everybody was telling me like Mike and them, they was just telling me like the conference tournament, it's just a different feeling once you step on the court and like you just see it. And they were just telling me like we're gonna have to wait and see. So like I could actually feel it. But yeah, it was just a difference between like a regular season game and a conference game. Like just coming into the game knowing it was do or die. And then we were able to I didn't I ain't gonna say I didn't know how it was gonna go, but we had showed a little signs. We had just beat Western Kentucky. Then we also had just lost to Middle Tennessee. So we was coming in on kind of like we don't really know how it's gonna go. But I feel like we played our best basketball the first two games for sure. And then we lost the last game by one possession. So I mean, I felt like the game we played against Liberty was probably our best game all year, especially Big Mike's.
Yeah. Of course, I think your record was so misleading to
Yeah.
anybody who didn't really
Yeah.
follow the team. I mean,
Mm.
you had that stretch of 7 games,
Yeah.
by 3 or 4 points
Mhm.
at most, that you lost 2 double overtime losses.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think the signs were there that you
Yeah.
could certainly come into that tournament and be
Yeah.
competitive.
We played every team. I'm gonna be honest. We all said it after we lost to Liberty the first time. We was like, we played them again. We can beat them. Like, yeah, they're the number one team in the conference, but we just matched up great with them. It's really all about matchups. FIU, that was hit or miss because we know we played terrible when we went to Florida and we knew we could beat them. So them 2 games, and then La Tech, they had beat us twice by a combined of 3 points. So we knew it was just gonna be a dogfight. I mean, that was a good team with a lot of size, and they came out with the win, but I mean, it was a great experience overall.
Speaking of dogs, you got a few on this team this year, don't you?
Mhm.
Yeah, a
For sure.
few more who really
Mhm.
get down
Yeah.
there and get there. A guy who's caught my eye a little bit in that regard is Christian Thompson.
Yeah, for sure. Christian is like a coach compared him to Dennis Rodman. Like when you watch his old film at his old school, and I mean, when it comes to like getting extra plays, hustle plays, like yeah, you could see it for sure. Christian's gonna do all the little things. Like he's probably not gonna come out and score, but he's gonna do everything we need to get extra possessions. Or if he needs to guard somebody, he's gonna guard him.
So, is there again? We'll say you number one, but on this team for the fans listening and kind of watching this podcast, who would be a big surprise, or who would you think would be fan favorites on this new team this year?
Hmm. I think the fans really gonna like Andres. I feel like you just got to see him, but the fans are gonna like Andres for sure. When Dane, if when Dane goes and catches a couple bodies, yeah, they're going to like him for sure, too. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen the growth Malachi has had either. It's just kind of something you got to go to the game and see. But, yeah, me and Malachi have been in the gym a lot this summer, and you could just kind of tell when it comes to playing.
There is something about, going from high school. I mean, you're the best player at your high school. You go to a college team and you become, kind of the freshman. You're the low man on the totem pole, and you got to work your way up a little bit. That first, season can be tough on some guys.
Yeah.
Even though they've got the talent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's just about how you can adapt your mindset, because you kind of know coming in, if you were the guy on your old team, like, you're probably not going to be the guy on this team. It's just about, like, finding your role, which I feel like that's what the summer and the fall before we start playing is great for. You the roles kind of place themselves in practice. You kind of see who does what in practice. And then when the games come, it's just kind of the roles have been set from what people did in practice.
Do you think it was an advantage for you in that regard that you had played at Vashon, that you played on a really good AAU program where you didn't have to be the guy, maybe weren't the guy a lot of times?
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the main reasons why I went to Vashon, was because I knew I was going to play with 6 other great players, and I knew how to play with other great players. Like, I didn't have to have the ball in my hands, or, I mean, if it's not my night and another guy or 2 other guys are having good nights, they can have a good night. I don't feel no type of way about it. I'm just trying to win at the end of the day.
Do you guys, is Konzo a guy that you want you guys to set goals? Do you set personal goals or team goals?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely team goals. Personal goals, that's just kind of like, when you don't really talk about them out loud, that's kind of something you have for yourself. But definitely team goals for sure. I mean, number one goal is to win the conference first, for sure. Definitely got to have a good non-conference slate, but the number one goal is to win the conference, especially after being, we were 45 minutes away from a March Madness last year. So, I mean, just being that close, me, Malachi, and Cam, we just want to kind of get back to that point so we can break through.
Cam's kind of the forgotten returner, isn't he? You and Malachi catch a little bit more attention, but Cam's in there too, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Cam's a hard worker. He's getting better day by day. He's not gonna be the guy to put up a lot of stats or anything like that, but he's gonna do what the team needs for sure.
So I would think, for individual goals for you, probably something assist to turnovers, maybe steals, those type of things, those type of numbers for you.
Yeah, for sure. That was me and Coach Martin had conversations when I was talking about coming back. Definitely averaged 3 assists last year. I'm trying to probably double that for sure. Just knowing how much the ball is in my hands, and then for us to win games is probably good for your point guard to average more than 5 assists. So definitely upping my assists is definitely a big goal. I shot 36% from 3 last year. I didn't feel like that was me. I feel like I could shoot 40. I feel like I'm a capable 40% three-point shooter. So definitely up that. And then free throws, I don't know what was going on last year. Definitely up my free throw percentage too.
Might look at the splits home and away, because there's something with those rims.
Or just get fouled on the one end of the court where the loose rim is.
I never blame the rims, but
no, but it is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. In every game, it's the same way. You rarely see teams shoot really, really well at home for some reason.
Sure.
But it's crazy. So again, Trey, we appreciate you coming on. I know the schedule hasn't been released yet, so we'll just ask you about the Conference USA schedule. Are there teams on there that you enjoy playing more than other ones?
I ain't going to answer that.
You're smart.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all pretty fun to play. I mean, every team gives you a different look.
Sure.
So I'll say it's a couple places that I like going to, just like away games. Like New Mexico State was a pretty cool away game. There was probably 5,000 people in there. Liberty was sold out when we played them. So definitely them two for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I know the schedule's not released yet, but they're getting close.
They're getting close. I talked to Coach Martin 2 days ago, and he said they actually have it, but that they were waiting on 2 contracts still. We heard, a couple of little tidbits here and there. I think a home and home with Tarleton State's been added. Tarleton State's rumored to be the next team that Conference USA is going to go after an expansion. So that's probably a pretty solid game. But yeah, we haven't heard a lot. I think 5 or 6 teams is about all we know so far.
We do know Iowa State in Kansas City. Do you like playing against big programs like that?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Iowa State's one of the kind of the schools, like when you were younger growing up, you're like, oh, that's a pretty big school. Like, I want to go there. So it's definitely going to be cool to play in for sure. Just kind of test ourselves and see where we're at against one of the best teams in the country.
Absolutely. Well, Trey, we appreciate you being on with us today. Wish you the best of luck. I know you're going to get a little R&R before school starts. So enjoy that. But, boy, we're really looking forward to watching you play again this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me.
You bet. Trey Williams Jr. Joining us on the podcast. We're going to let him go, and Mark and I will talk a little bit more about Missouri State athletics. But nice to have Trey on with us, the starting point guard for the Bears. Again, the stats he put up last year as a freshman, unbelievable. One of the best freshman seasons ever at Missouri State.
Yeah, and it was kind of low key. Basically, he started slow a little bit, but he was the starting point guard from day one. And so had a lot thrown on his plate to have to manage, because just like he was talking about this year, last year's team was all new too.
Yeah.
That was a totally new team too. There was only a couple returnees, and he's a freshman walking in cold and being asked from day one, be the leader on the court for this team. And so yeah, I think as you would expect, there was, some growing pains early. As with most freshmen, there were games he was a little more, and he mentioned that, a little more tentative, not as sure about what he could do. And then, conference season hit, and he started to put some pretty consistent games together. And then down the stretch, I mean, he was right there with Mike and Keith and Kobe as far as just as important, offensively as they were. He had a lot of big shots late in the year. And I really think it's going to help him so much this year with the extra ball handlers on the court. Dylan Rowe is a true point guard, and it'd be real interesting to see how those two play in tandem. Because as we know, Coach Martin said they definitely are going to play in tandem. And you heard Trey; he likes the idea of being off ball a little bit more. So
give him some time that he doesn't have to concentrate fully on just bringing the ball down the floor and getting them into their play.
Well, and he mentioned something that I've been watching, and I've mentioned on the board a couple times, but he mentioned, like, last year, of course, he had to guard that point guard all the time too, and how wearing that was.
Yeah.
But what Zoe's been doing a lot in practice is putting 6'6", 6'7" guys on the point guards, to guard them full court when they're bringing the ball up. And I anticipate that we'll do a little bit more of that this year, so that Trey and Dylan aren't having to pressure full court all the time. We'll put a big 6'6" athletic guy on their point guards and make them bring the ball up against them quite a bit, I think.
Like LeBron James, are going to make him a point guard now in Philadelphia. Yeah. So that's great. Appreciate him being on with us today. We do have some other things to talk about at Missouri State. Of course, Sneaker Soiree coming up. As we tape this on Thursday, it'll be this Saturday. So if you're watching or listening to this after Saturday, it's already happened, and you missed a great event.
Yeah. It's doors open at 5 at the GSB. It actually starts at 5:30. You can buy a ticket at the door. I think it's $5 more if you just wait till then, at $40 as opposed to $35 if you still want to go online and get your ticket for that. And like we said, it's the 40th. And yeah, when I saw that, Tom, I thought, wow, that means I must have started going right, when they first started doing these.
Yeah.
It was already established when I went to the first one, but I didn't realize it had only been a couple years. So yeah, if they 40 years old, I've probably been to 35 of them.
And they're gonna do some special things in honor of the 40th this year. So some surprises from what Paige told us the other day on the radio show.
It's a fun night anyway, you know. So yeah, it's whatever they come up with, I'm sure will just add to the atmosphere.
Sure.
We do have some other news basketball wise. The Lady Bears schedule is now complete, I think, in terms of we found out the second game down in the Cancun Challenge, and that will be Washington State. So they play Minnesota first, and then they play Washington State the next game. Now, Washington State's one of those teams that's a little bit in transition in that, traditionally a Power 5, Power 4 team from the PAC conference, but then they moved to the Mountain West, I think it was last year, but then that whole group is going to reform here, I think, and try to become a new Pac-10 in the next year or so, and hopefully regain their status as a Power 4 or 5 conference. But so you're looking at a team that's probably just a little bit less than a lot of the other Power 4s would be, but still has a lot of the resources, a lot of history, all that a normal Power 4, Power 5 team would have. And so that's a good game. And I don't know if we're going to have any exhibition games. I haven't seen any on the Lady Bear schedule. And so if they don't add an exhibition, then I guess the schedule is set. And I'm just going to say, Tom, for me, now that I see it all and look at it, I just think it's the perfect schedule for this team this year. 5 of the first 6 games and 6 of the first 8 are against teams that were below 500 last year. So that gives you a great chance to get off to a good start. And yet some of those teams are decent teams, and could easily rebound. But the fact is they're coming off of losing seasons. And so you should have an advantage in those games. And so, basically 6 of the first 8. There's no D2. So I like that. It's all D1 teams that we're going to see this year. It's got a strong regional base to it. We play St. Louis U, we play Kansas City, we play SEMO, we play Arkansas, we play Central Arkansas, we play Kansas, and we play Wichita State. Those are all games within 3 to 5 hours if you're driving. Now, some of them will be home, but again, it's a very regional, non-con schedule. And there's some name Power 4s, there's some quality games that can get you the notice you need, for an at-large. We play Marquette here at home. We play Arkansas there. We play KU there. We're going to play Washington State and Minnesota down in Cancun. So, that's 5 games right there against, name teams. So, when I look at that, it's just an ideal schedule to be able to get off to a good start. You're playing decent but not great teams. Then the last half of your non-con, you're playing some heavy hitters. Have a chance to really make some name for yourself, especially if you got a great record going into those games. That will catch a little bit of attention, and just go from there. This team, on the ladies' side, they've got experience, they've got size, they've got proven scorers, they got solid defense based on last year. I think this is a team that's easily on paper on par with Kelly's last team and the Mox teams. Obviously they got to go out and prove it, but let's not forget this team in the last 2 years won a Missouri Valley Conference title and won a Conference USA tournament title.
Right.
So this team has had successes, has been building on it. And so this is the year. You got your senior leader and Cayman, you got, Laney's a junior. You just got a lot of momentum. And so I really think this is a team on par with those teams. And to me, I'd encourage people right now, get out there and get your season ticket, make an early decision to go to Huntsville, because I think it's going to be worth watching.
Absolutely. And speaking, you talked about Coach Mox. There was some news with her this week that her and Virginia reached a financial settlement this week, undisclosed amount, but she got paid for being relieved of duty April 4th after playing in the Sweet 16. But that has come to a resolution. I know she'd like to coach again, but she's, I think, counting her money right now somewhere in Virginia, I guess. A lot of her staff has gone on to get other jobs, different places. Got Jones, I'm trying to remember his first name, is at Florida. He is one of 4, I believe, associate head coaches at Florida, along with Tony Valerio at the University of Florida. C.J. Jones was on her staff. But anyway, Coach Mox in the news this week. I did talk to Coach Abe as well, another former Lady Bear coach. She doesn't know if she wants to coach anymore. She's kind of in semi-retirement. Maybe we'll do some TV, but she's okay with her coaching career if it's ended. But she left Georgia, kind of a mutually agreed situation, and down in Florida right now with her family. And so she may not coach again, but that wouldn't surprise me if she does come back.
Well, she had 24 years as a D1 coach.
Yeah.
That's a good career, and I know she had some other coaching prior to that, but 24 years solid as a D1 coach. So that's a good career for Coach Abe.
And Cheryl, of course, is retired. She's down at the lake in Branson, but traveling a lot. So that gets you updated. Nyla Millicent at Drury as the athletic director and doing a great job there. So just an update on the most recent Lady Bear head coaches.
All righty. And what I just said about the women, I would say, the men's program, obviously a little more transition, coming off a season in which they fared well down the stretch, but, had a challenging year overall. But I would say the same thing with them. There's so much potential on that team. And I would just tell people, now's the time to get behind them. They could use that. They're going to go out there and put a good product on the court, wins and losses that always, you never know until you play the games. But again, I would say that's a team you want to get your tickets. And then especially I'm really encouraging people because I think I think people would really enjoy the experience of going down there and rooting for both those teams in Huntsville.
No doubt. You were there. I was there to have both teams in one location. I thought the venue was perfect for that.
Intimate, and what I saw is that, I think we probably had the third biggest crowd overall. And so what I saw is that we can be competitive that way too for that. We can go down there and have a nice showing and not be overwhelmed that somebody else, has 5,000 and we got 150,
right.
or something. And so, I think just everything about the venue, the intimacy of it, the way they do it, you don't have to worry about your ticket where it's at because it's all general admission. You all just move around and sit where you want each game. I just thought it was just an outstanding format and competitive, tournament. And so I just anticipate a lot more. I was really happy when I think they extended that for another 2 to 3 years down in Huntsville. So
good location, good event, good tournament. Of course, the Bears and Lady Bears both had good success there as well. So that's definitely something to look forward to.
Tom, about the only other thing I got today is there's been some baseball news this week that's noteworthy. For the baseball Bears, the whatever you want to call this part of the season where NIL and the portal is all active. But the Bears came out of that with the 16th best nationally rated portal class, kids that they signed out of the portal. And it was the number one portal class among all non-Power 4 schools. So 16th against everybody and number one against teams at our same level. And basically it was 11 players that they signed in that. It was 6 position players, 5 pitchers. And those players will be added along with a few freshmen. And then, of course, some returners from last year. And, when I look at the names and the numbers, Tom, it's pretty gaudy. It's pretty gaudy. I can see why they've got that rating. All the position players that I'm going to mention were D1 except one. So these aren't guys coming from, non-D1 competition. Yeah. But you got a Brady Davidson. He's an infielder from Ball State. He hit 415 last year, Tom. 415, number 4 in the nation, and our number 5 in the nation. They had a 457 on base percent. Jalen Hernandez is a utility player from Winthrop. He hit 318 with 15 homers. Michael Rodriguez, outfielder for Bethune-Cookman, number 4 hitter in the country last year. 416 was his average. And he was the number 1 in all of college baseball in an on-base percent at 574. 57% of the time he gets on base, Tom. Got a transfer from FIU. He was a part-time starter at catcher for FIU, Caden Samuels. he hit our Suarez, I think that is. Samler. I'm having trouble reading my own writing. But anyway, he played at FIU, and he hit 342, starting like 30 games for them. We've got a starter from Mizzou who's been a part-time starter in center field and outfield for them for the last 3 years. He hit 274 for his career there. At the worst, he's going to give you a good, solid, player, experienced player who can share a position perhaps. And then the one that's probably intriguing is a kid named Nick Slogic. He's the only one who didn't play at D1 last year. He was actually at D3, but he's 6'5", 235. He hit 455 with 23 homers and 98 RBIs last year in Division III, Tom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it also includes a local player from Forsyth, Tristan Hunter, who throws mid-90s.
Yeah, he's one of the pitchers.
Yep. Yeah. You had mentioned the Mizzou player. That's Caden Peer, who is from St. Louis. And then there's a Farmington High School graduate and Jefferson College player. We used to get a lot of players from Jeffco.
Yeah.
But Aiden Redmond, undersized, but boy, he put up some great numbers at JUCO. Aiden Redmond, his name. Just a couple of the 11 players that'll be playing for the Bears next year, all transfers.
Yeah, he was 9-1 at Jefferson College with a 2.29 ERA. And he's a little undersized, but obviously, had some good numbers at a reputable junior college. We've gotten a number of players from that junior college over the years. And then the other pitchers, they all got good size. And probably the one that stood out to me, Tom, it's kind of interesting, is Fisher Cantrell. Is a transfer from Jacksonville State, who was obviously the best team in our conference last year. And he's 6'6". And I didn't get a chance to go back and research, but I kind of think he was just a late game specialty guy for them. But his stats are just, he only pitched on the whole year 26 innings. But in those 26 innings, he struck out 47 batters. And in the conference tournament, he pitched 9 innings and struck out 19 in 9 innings in the conference tournament. So obviously, and his stats are really good. I'm assuming his lack of innings were either due to perhaps an injury earlier in the year, or that just simply, like I said, they use him as a specialty 1 inning or so guy late in games, But either way, he was very, very successful at it. And so, it'd be interesting to see what role is he going to be, like a closer type, or could he be someone who challenged for a starting spot? That sometimes is why they want to move, is I want to be a starter, I want a chance to do that. But certainly he's an imposing physical player and has some talent. And then, you add those to what the Bears have coming back, players like Jax Ryan, Logan Five, Charlie Carter, Max Knight, Curry Sutherland, and some pitchers like Ross Felder, Owen Slater, Tyler Charlton, Yusupchik. Hopefully he's back and healthy. And you start looking at all that, and that's probably a team that's going to get some votes for top 25 going into next year.
Not only that, Baseball America picked them as one of the 8 teams to play at Omaha after the season. So they're getting respect from national publications as well that have a pretty good idea. Some of these people, you're like, how do you know about baseball? Maybe you know something about SEC baseball, but do you know what's going on at other schools? Maybe you know something about the Pac-12. Baseball America does it all. They cover everybody. And for them, one of their writers to put the Bears in the College World Series says a lot.
Yeah. And I tell people this, we've mentioned this before, but if you go to the Bear Boulevard fan forum and you go to the baseball section, I will say this, the baseball people on that side of it, the Bear fans who are baseball guys, are much more involved in doing the research and very much into advanced stats and metrics. And so when we are signing guys like this, there's pretty good profiles and, pretty good discussion on why these guys are a good get from Missouri State. So if you're big into baseball, you might want to go over there and look at that. And then of course there's some profiles and things on the Missouri State athletic site as well for all these guys. So
well, the schedules I think now are complete for all the fall sports. I saw the men's soccer schedule recently. football's actually just released their themes for all their home games, which is cool. So we'll have a lot more to talk about, outside the hoops when we do the future shows. So make sure you tune in for that. But let people know that we have this podcast out. Trey Williams was great. Bears starting point guard. We'll play a little two guard this year as well for the Bears. He was fantastic from Vashon High School in St. Louis. We appreciate him being on the show. And again, future guests, we'll have, more coaches, more players from both Missouri State and from some teams in Conference USA.
Yeah, and when we come back, I don't know what we'll do the next couple of weeks. We'll just have to see. We might have the men's schedule to talk about or something like that. But if we don't, when we do come back, when school starts, one thing for sure is that all the teams' rosters for basketball will be set at that point. And so we can start doing some of what we did last year, a little bit of deep dives on all the at least the top teams in the Conference USA on both the men's and women's side. Talk a little more in depth about the players they have coming back, the players they've added, and get a little bit better perspective on what the competition is going to be like.
Absolutely. I just double checked to make sure it wasn't released while we were doing the show. That's happened a couple times. We've done the show, and all of a sudden, an hour later, the schedule's released. So it hasn't yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. Mark, as always, great show.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to all of our listeners.
Yep. You can catch this as well. Just let people know we are on 96.9 The Jock. You can go to Facebook. You can go to YouTube and Spotify to pick it up. 969thejock.com is where you get the podcast as well. It's the Bear Down, Paws Up podcast. My name is Tom Ladd. That's Mark Beas. We will see you next time right here.